But if you wanna find me, please just send me location. Send me location.
You know, they're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I back. Trust me, I back.
But I'm not impressed by your performance.
You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. Shut your fucking mouth, you'll do nothing. You'll do fucking nothing. Now, what is you'll do nothing?
I'll tell you what, bro. You know, I was out there, I was fighting all the hitters, bro. You ain't fought no hitters.
Come on, guys. It's normal.
I'm not saying I would fight you. I would kill you.
John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John? I mean, you.
No, don't be scared, homie. I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the fuck he wants.
I'm gonna beat you into the living death. I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, you know, people like that get slapped.
That's fucking illegal.
You just shook up the world. How's that feel?
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Well, this is a simulated death match. And you haven't simulated anybody's death yet.
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
What is the game plan going in against him?
The game plan is you go in there, hit him with some good shit, don't get hit, and come home with a pocket full of cash.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
Do you want to be a fighter? That is my question.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Another live fight chat edition, and obviously a media reaction to UFC 229, Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, or actually it should be flipped. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor, since it is for Khabib's lightweight title. It is live right now. The fight has not started yet. Khabib is just entering the cage. If you guys want to sync up with us, obviously we will tell you when the first round starts. We're going to be here live, breaking down the fight, give our analysis of it, and obviously your analysis of it. Call in 323-870-4051. If you are international, email me, mixedcombatradio@gmail.com to get a free international permanent call-in link. So you guys can discuss, obviously, this fight as well, and plus all the fights this weekend so far on the UFC card. Obviously, after the fight itself, if we get into callers, I think me and Santiago are going to discuss a little bit about the DAZN card today as well. But I'm obviously joined today, as customary on live fight chats, my good friend Santiago. Santiago, how you doing?
Doing good. The DAZN card was fairly entertaining. Granted, it was only 2 fights we really gave a damn about. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of our attention had been more or less diverted towards UFC 229, even for me, considering.
Yeah, the main card has been good so far. You know, really the only, bad fight we've had is the Felice Herring Michelle Waterson fight, and that wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
No, we've had all good fights so far. Tons of action. Obviously, it's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's the night you've all been waiting for. Conor McGregor, after 2-year layoff from MMA, obviously he fought Floyd Mayweather last year, a fight that I partook in some form or fashion as media. Obviously, coming back to face Khabib, who has since taken his throne. It's going to be interesting to see. Santiago, what's sort of your last fight thoughts? It's the last sort of seconds before the fight. What are you thinking? What's your gut feeling as we enter into this fight?
I think we're going to see McGregor return to form. Mm-hmm. Entering this fight, McGregor does have the height and reach advantage over Khabib. And the other thing, too, is that it's definitely the contrast style, the wrestler versus the striker. Mm-hmm. And as long as McGregor does keep Khabib from being able to set up his ground game or take the fight to the ground, I think it's his fight to win. I
agree. In large parts. Obviously, I picked Khabib in our preview show on Wednesday. Every Wednesday before a weekend, we preview all of the weekend's action. Obviously, Saturdays for live fight chats and media reactions, and then Monday is our review. So Monday, if you want the real full, in-depth breakdown of all the fights this weekend, including obviously the Lewis Neary fight, which we missed, which happened just a few minutes ago. Lewis Neary won by knockout in the second round, I believe. And obviously the World Boxing Super Series card, which is tomorrow morning. All of that will be discussed, obviously, on Monday's review show. But I'm hyped. It is here. Bruce Buffer, is giving out the fighter announcements. I'm hyped. Like this is a big fight. This is a very big fight.
Special moment for you. That's why I'm here. Because believe you me, anybody else I would not be here for. But I know how much this means to you, and it's McGregor. You know, he left an impression on me, and I imagine he left an impression with a lot of the boxing heads too. So it's going to be interesting for a lot of them too to see what McGregor is like. I wonder if this is their first time seeing any form of MMA.
I wonder how many boxing heads are coming over from obviously the Mayweather sort of circus fight, and like you said, are now watching a UFC fight live for the first time. I wonder what that number is. Obviously, we have no idea what the pay-per-view is at this point. The fight's still going on. The buys are still coming in probably. What do you think this does? Do you think this breaks 2 million? Do you think this is the first UFC event to break 2 million pay-per-view buys? Drawing obviously Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Mayweather versus Canelo, and as well obviously the 4+ million buy rates of Mayweather, Pacquiao, Mayweather, McGregor. Do you think this joins that group?
I think it joins it, and at that too, I think it gets really damn close. Like really damn close. Like we're probably going to say maybe a digit off.
So it might end up being like 1.9, 1.8.
Yeah.
I think it breaks 2. I think it does 2.1, 2.2. I think it. I don't know. Obviously, since we have a few seconds before the fight starts, I think it's interesting to see how obviously the marketing dollars weren't in this event, but there is sort of that sort of natural hype around it. Like everyone is interested in this. ESPN has been covering it nonstop, and obviously that's partially due to the new UFC and ESPN relationship in 2019. But all that doesn't matter. First round is about to start. All the niceties and pleasantries are over. It's here. Get hyped. UFC 229 main event. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. It's going down. Ooh, I'm ready. I'm ready, Santiago. Nice. First round has started. Conor McGregor pressuring Khabib. Khabib already on the back foot. A la the Michael Johnson fight, eating a left hand early. This is something I noted in the preview show, that if Khabib takes that outside foot placement behind the black line, I think he is at a disadvantage there. Khabib went for a takedown. He's chaining it for a single leg. He has it deep, though, but Conor McGregor doing a good job of spreading his base out,
and
trying to defend
keeping
it.
himself from completely being taken down, too.
What he needs to do is separate the hands. He needs to separate the hands, because right now Khabib's about to dump him. He's going to turn him. Oh, wow. Conor doing a very good job of defending the takedown right now on the sprawl. Khabib still attached to that right leg of Conor McGregor, trying to turn him into a takedown and dump him. He's being, right now, unsuccessful, but, he got it. He got it. Finally was able to turn Conor McGregor over against the fence. He has the takedown about a minute into the first round. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Conor has to sort of get his feet out of that placement.
Yeah, and I feel like right now they're locked in a position where both guys are just trying to go for positioning. They're not really doing much.
Well, of course. I mean, obviously, neither guy is in a position to sort of put offense. Conor's not in a position to explode and get up. His legs are wrapped up. But Khabib is doing a good job of not, I think, exploding to the next position. Khabib, if you've been watching him for any period of time, you've known that he is such a suffocating top positioning style. He doesn't really give you that room to explode, right? So Conor is going to be very smart here. You have to sort of negate the offensive ground and pound of Khabib, which he's been doing so far. Khabib has not been able to get his offensive going, partially due to the positioning he has chose. If I'm Khabib, you need to separate him from the fence. The more that Conor is pressed up against the fence right there, he has something to wall climb up. Khabib trying to sort of pull him away from the fence right now, as you can see. So far, not a lot of offense at all in terms of strikes, if any, really, have happened. Just positioning. Interesting to note, though, that Conor's doing a pretty good job of defending and negating the pressure of Khabib. Khabib's starting to open up a little bit more now with these right hands, with Conor against the fence. But, we're about the halfway point in this first round. Conor's taken 0 punishment. He's been taken out once, but he made Khabib work for it. And so far, he's not allowed Khabib really to change position, go to side control, scoot him away from the fence, and start unleashing his patented ground and pound. So Conor's doing a decent job. I'm not going to say a good job.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's still on the ground. He's still trying to adapt and defend what Khabib is doing.
Yeah, the fact that they're more or less canceling each other out at this point is kind of like giving it an interesting shape.
Khabib really struggling, though, to get Conor away from the fence. Conor gave up the underhook right there. It's a bad move. That allows Khabib to sort of get his feet back in position. Now has a butterfly guard.
Minute 30 left to go into the round.
Needs to push him off right here. He needs to push Khabib off here and explode. Now, obviously, the one thing that might be stopping him is the hands underneath Conor. I don't know at that moment if Khabib's hands were claps. Hand control is very key here. Hip control and hand control is the most important factors when you fight on the ground. Crowd does not seem happy, though.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be in the same shoes too. Pretty much exactly why some of these people tend to give MMA, the cold shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
But really, this is
exactly what you thought would happen. If you didn't think this was going to happen, you don't watch the sport. Conor was going to have to get off his back at some point. He was going to.
He's going to get taken down, and then the question is, how well does he negate Nurmagomedov offensive on the ground?
Which he's doing very well right now.
Exactly, and then the other point, too, will be how well can he keep it standing.
Mm-hmm.
And for Nurmagomedov, it's going to be a matter of, can I keep putting him down? Can I keep him on the ground? Can I start working my offense on the ground?
One fatal flaw of Conor McGregor's takedown defense, even though his hit placement was very good in the sprawl, he never was concerned about the hands of Khabib. He never wanted to break the grip of Khabib's hands. You need to do that. When Khabib has that deep single leg on you, and if you're just trying to sprawl out with your hips and just create that space, it's not enough. Khabib's going to keep pushing it and pushing through that until he gets that takedown. You need to separate the hands. First round has ended, ladies and gentlemen. Clear 10-9, I would say, for Khabib. He had Conor on his back for most of the round, though obviously Conor had some good points in that round. His ability to negate really all of the offensive ground and pound from Khabib. I mean, if you're just listening to us and not watching the fight, there was maybe 6 punches landed from Khabib total.
And about maybe 6-8 punches landed by McGregor. Really, the entire round was spent on the ground with them just trying to fight for positioning.
One thing though is that Khabib instantly had a very defensive posture. He was behind that double black line. He had his back up against the cage. Conor needs to instantly get Khabib back there. You cannot allow Khabib to all of a sudden change that because of him having him on the ground, change the momentum, and now push Conor back. Conor has to be the one still walking forward. Second round has started, ladies and gentlemen. Teep kick from Conor McGregor. McGregor's hands are just by his waist. Obviously, no respect to Khabib striking. Looking to sprawl out for that takedown when it comes. Conor, though, obviously a guy that should be concerned about getting taken down. Oh! Right hand from Khabib. Rocks Conor McGregor. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry if I blew out anyone's eardrums with that.
Another right hand lands by Khabib on McGregor's chin.
Double leg takedown attempt by Khabib has pressed Conor against the fence. Goes for single leg. Gets him down. Goes on a suplex there. Wow. Right hand by Khabib did rock him. Man. Conor McGregor has to sort of get out of this position right now. Khabib is basically in full mount. Has Conor McGregor's back on the canvas. Conor McGregor's rolling now. Khabib about to take his back. This is not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Looks for an arm triangle. Khabib is setting up an arm triangle, ladies and gentlemen. Gave up on it. Khabib now trying to throw some more ground and pound. Soften McGregor up. McGregor now gets back into butterfly guard, but Khabib transitions to side control. McGregor back in butterfly guard. Going to be a lot of transitions by both men here. McGregor now in full guard. Good elbow by Khabib. Conor still looks a little bit
He
stunned.
Definitely looks still a bit dazed.
Yeah.
And, Nurmagomedov is doing the right thing by working his body and working his head while on the ground too.
Mm-hmm.
Keep him guessing. Keep his offense going.
Khabib now really opening up on the ground. This is not the fight Conor McGregor wanted to fight. And now he cannot be as disrespectful on the feet, having been dropped. Huge right hand by Khabib there on the ground. Huge elbow by Khabib. This fight might effectively be over from that right hand going on, and it's just a matter of time, ladies and gentlemen, because Conor McGregor is going to have a huge momentum shift here.
Oh yeah, this has far been a dominant controlling round by Khabib. And
he's hurt. Oh, huge ground and pound by Khabib now. Conor might be seriously hurt, ladies and gentlemen.
And working those shots.
Oh, Conor's hurt.
And the referee looks like he's getting ready to step in. He's looking very intently.
Conor's done. Conor's done. He's eating shot after shot after shot right now. Herb Dean giving him as much time as possible. And if you've seen Herb Dean as of recent, he's going to give Conor McGregor as much time. He will. Khabib should have, he's now gone back to position. I think he's going to try to lock up a Kimura or an Anaconda. Oh. Illegal knee by Conor McGregor there on the ground. Look at Conor go back to... Conor's grabbing the fence with his toes here, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty good. What Conor needs to do, unfortunately, is still open himself up to submission. He needs to roll in on his belly and then try to transition from there, and that's still going to open him up to like a north-south choke or maybe a guillotine choke, but it's still right there. You need to transition. Obviously, open him up to a guillotine, but that's what he needed to do, unfortunately. He could not have stayed on his back like that in Khabib's side control. Conor is back up to his feet, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. 40 seconds left in the round. I'm shocked he is up.
Yeah.
I thought he was done.
It looked like it could have been done already, and, who knows?
They could have stopped it.
They easily could have stopped it, and you got to wonder how hurt he has to be right now. 30 seconds left to go into the second round. And Khabib just has McGregor pressed against the cage. McGregor looking like he's just trying to make it out of this round at this point.
It's about 10 seconds left. Wow, what a round. All started from a Khabib Nurmagomedov overhand right that knocked down Conor McGregor. Who thought the first knockdown in the fight would be from Khabib to Conor? Wow. Second round has ended, ladies and gentlemen. Conor has survived it. He's all smiles right now, laughing. But he's bloody. He's swollen.
And he knows. He has to know now.
He's in a fucking fight. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you can call in at any time if you want to talk about the fight as we are watching it. 323-870-4051. If you are international, email me, mixedcombatradio@gmail.com. Insane stuff here from Conor in terms of durability. He was eating a lot of shots, a lot of punishment, all after he was knocked down. He was able to survive the submission attempts. Ooh, they just showed the highlight of the right hand. Real lunging right hand, but you're going to catch Conor like that when he has his hands down. And just like Conor's left hand is always going to be open to Khabib to land, Khabib's right hand is always going to be open. Chad Mendes was able to land right hands at will against Conor. He didn't really have the same effect that had as Khabib, but this is 155, not 145. Conor McGregor coming out aggressive as always, taking the center of the octagon, pushing Khabib back behind that double black line. Khabib is so much like Tyron Woodley that way, where he can get his offense going by going backwards. It's such a weird sort of skill to have. It's a rare skill to have. Conor actually landing some shots right here. Did Khabib get a little bit tired potentially?
Maybe with that salvo that he tried in order to get the fight stopped,
Potentially.
easily you could imagine that he might be a little bit worn out.
Conor trying to get his boxing going. Khabib feinting for takedowns and level changes. That's smart. Make Conor guess. If I'm Khabib, I start throwing a little bit more too.
Yeah, you have to. You can hurt him now too, so don't be afraid
and it's going to open up your wrestling.
Yeah,
instantly.
easily. And one of your biggest gripes is the fact that he had the worst setups for his wrestling too.
And Khabib actually has a sneaky jab. I would like to see him throw that a little bit more. Obviously, I think he's worried about Conor timing the jab and having a pull back counter left hand, obviously. But, you throw feints, double it up, throw the right hand behind it, mix it up, and then obviously throw any takedowns with it. I think Conor's going to have a really tough time dealing with it. Did Conor land that counter left?
No, he didn't. Both guys missed with their lead shots, with their rear shots.
Attempted double leg by Khabib, gets sprawled out. Both guys in the clinch. Now, this is where Khabib really shines in the clinch, but Conor's able to get out of it. Ooh, right hand from Khabib lands. Right hand from Khabib. Falls into a takedown attempt. Has Conor against up the cage. Conor needs to get the underhook and turn him. Really interesting fight here. And honestly, arguably a little more of a competitive fight than I thought we were going to see. Ooh, good uppercut there by Conor McGregor. Has the crowd roaring. Left high kick from Conor barely misses. Gets blocked at the last minute by Khabib. Ooh, right hand from Khabib lands. Follows up with 2 jabs. Good stuff. Oh, left hands by Conor. We have not seen Khabib really get hurt, though, yet. Oh, good jab, though, by Conor. Oh, standing elbow. Good teep kick by Conor McGregor. Khabib looks comfortable here standing. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. And plus, they're both been standing in the center of the cage. And McGregor's been able to do some work, not have to worry too much about it. And both guys have been throwing and missing with some of their best shots, too.
Well, it's not just that. Khabib is failing with his takedowns right now in this round. I know we haven't really been stating that as much as an overarching narrative of this round, but Khabib has not been able to land his takedowns in this round at all. Oh, good little step-in counter needed to counter the takedown of Khabib. I don't know why Khabib is not as successful in his takedown attempts right now. Oh, finally got a little trip single leg there.
But McGregor back up almost as fast as he gets taken down.
Shout out to Aaron Munoz, Frangoli, Robisky, Wawa, Bayside, Lord Jacob, and Wayne. Hope everyone's having a great time watching the fights. Hit that like button, share the show, subscribe. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. About 45 seconds left in the third round. Khabib has Conor pressed up against the cage. Trying to chain some wrestling takedowns attempt here. I think he's trying to go for a single leg. Conor's done a very good job of defending it, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's probably because that's exactly what he knows he's aiming for, too. You can almost see it predictably. And so it's giving Conor the opportunity he needs to keep this fight at the very most standing, even if he is pressed against the cage.
Yeah, because even here, it's a pretty neutral position in terms of damage. Khabib's not landing any damage in the clinch. He's looking to go for takedowns. Khabib's talking to the ref. I don't know what he's saying. Khabib talking shit to Conor right there, huh?
Yep.
I like that, Khabib. Talk that shit, man. Talk that shit.
I want smoke.
That's what I want, Khabib.
Ferngully saying great fight so far.
It is a pretty good fight. This is a much more competitive fight than what I thought it would be.
And it's playing out exactly how I thought it was going to play out for both guys to try and get the win, too. The only difference being that I didn't expect McGregor to be able to neutralize the takedowns as well as he has been.
That's been shocking. And then on top of that, when it has been taken down, him being able to negate all of the offensive output of Khabib, except for obviously the second round, is quite impressive. He's still losing. I think he's lost every round, to be quite honest.
Oh, yeah, thus far, 3-0 Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Conor McGregor needs a knockout at this point, in my opinion, to win the fight.
He's got to stop him. There's
no way he wins a decision here. And I think Conor knows that. Khabib's talking that shit. Both guys are talking that shit. Man, it's UFC 229. Get hyped. Hit that like button. Share the show. Subscribe. Fourth round. Championship rounds. A prediction that I said this fight was not going to the championship rounds was wrong. Shots at me. We get them wrong sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. We get them wrong sometimes.
That's all you got.
Ooh, a left hand by Conor there. Good stuff. Conor's getting a second win, though. I think his ability to defend the takedown has given him a little more confidence in there. That's allowing him to open up a little bit more. But still, Khabib is just his pressure. Like, when he does decide to all of a sudden turn it on and pressure you, he's just so hard to deal with. He's so hard to get off of you. Right hand misses by Khabib. Conor still in the center of the octagon. Khabib, though, switched it up. Now he's the one pressuring in the center. That was a 1-2. Goes for a double leg. Presses Conor up against the cage. Goes for a single leg, trips him down. Gets Conor down. Conor doing a good job of blocking any offensive ground and pound. But he gives up the back. This is bad. This is a bad position for Conor. Press up against the cage. Khabib doesn't have fully have his back, but he's in a position to throw him around, take the back, do a lot with him. Fence grab by Conor there. Conor gets taken down. Full mount for Khabib. Khabib has landed 4 of 7 takedowns in this fight.
And he's had to work for every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. Arm triangle being set up by Khabib right here. Conor not really trying to switch position right now. I think he's trying to look for Khabib to make a mistake, which doesn't happen that often right now in full mount, and then explode from there, like he's doing right now. But Khabib is just his pressure on top is just otherworldly. He is truly suffocating in top position. He's in a modified. Oh no, actually he has full mount. That was a half guard. Conor trying to turn over and give up his back. Khabib has it. Trying to lock up a rear naked choke. It might be it. It might be it, ladies and gentlemen. It's it. Conor tapped. Conor tapped.
Damn.
And still, your UFC champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov. And he's going off at someone in the crowd. I don't know who he's going off at. Oh, wow. He's going after someone.
Holy crap.
Oh, he's attacking Dylan Dennis. Wow. There's a brawl. Oh, my God. There's a brawl outside the octagon right now, ladies and gentlemen. Khabib attacked Dylan Dennis, which is a training partner of Conor McGregor. Oh, someone attacked Conor McGregor. One of Khabib's teammates attacked Conor McGregor. There is a complete brawl right now, ladies and gentlemen, in the octagon.
And out of the octagon. Holy crap.
Wow, both teams are going at it. Holy shit. Wow, police have completely ascended on the place. Wow. 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 What a black mark on the event right now.
Black eye. Yeah.
The black eye, thank you.
That is hands down the most unexpected thing I have seen thus far this week.
The camera is still panned on the very outside camera. They're not showing anything up close right now. Now they do, finally. Conor McGregor got attacked in there, man. Wow. That is crazy.
Like, I caught him in the back, too. This guy literally...
He sucker punched him. Yeah, he jumped over the fence and sucker punched him. Wow. I definitely need somebody to call in. 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. This has turned into something historic at first and then on another level, infamously historic. I think they're trying to make Conor just leave. I don't know what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be here and try to figure out what happens. Wow. I don't know what they do here. I mean, how do you have the usual moment where you wrap the belt around them?
And they
like
just brought Khabib back in, and he looks heated.
Like, you literally had a guy just do a assault and battery right now. Like, Khabib might head to jail after this.
And he's even got DC and Herb Dean talking to him.
Daniel Cormier trying to calm down Khabib, but... And so is Luke Rockhold. His whole team is trying to calm him down right now. This is really unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about the fucking fight. And this shit happens.
Yeah, that's a hell of a way to take everyone aback. Like, seriously.
Yeah, this is just downright, just disgusting, to be quite honest. Because it not only was Khabib jumping, it was everything that happened after that as well. It escalated so fucking fast. And for his teammates, and I know who it was, I forget the names, but I know who it was, that jumped the fence and sucker punched Conor McGregor. Come on, man.
That's just as bad as when freaking Darrell's uncle sucker punched Uzcategui.
Yes. This is really bad, ladies and gentlemen. There will be legal trouble after this. This is not an isolated incident here. Khabib literally might grab his belt and walk off to jail after this. Because, again, he jumped the fucking fence and committed assault and battery.
And then
his entire team did, too. Calling Gus, Fern,
seriously,
Wawa, 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. I need someone else to come in here and sort of
give
an outside opinion here. Because I don't...
Yeah, definitely,
I don't know if maybe we're being too hard on it. I don't know. It just seems like this entire event went from such an amazing fight, an amazing event. UFC 209 was one of the best events of all year. The whole year it was.
And it had to end the way it did.
Think about Tony Ferguson versus Anthony Pettis.
That was
How hard is it to go back and talk about that right now?
It's just this moment has
Derek Lewis moment.
This entire incident has completely overshadowed the event.
Conor is leaving the event, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's due to security more than anything because he is just completely surrounded. Khabib's trying to get his belt. This is just, it's insane. Joe Rogan just made a really good point right here. Las Vegas, everyone in Las Vegas right now, be very fucking safe. Be very fucking safe.
Be careful, man.
Khabib's crew, it's not just that you have a bunch of Russian and Irish people that are drunk, and we know the stereotypes of those two people. It's not just that. Khabib runs with a particular crew, ladies and gentlemen. So please, if anyone's listening and they're in Las Vegas right now, be safe. Be safe out there.
Stay with your group. If you came with a group, just be careful tonight because this
like Joe Rogan said, it's going to spill out into the streets. It is. Be safe. Yeah, another good point from the athletic commissions. That's another, not even legal trouble. The athletic commissions, it's gonna be trouble. Fugatti, wow, saying what happened? My feed went out. Fugatti, you missed
an insane.
You missed a moment. You missed a moment in history. Khabib Nurmagomedov to set the table. Khabib Nurmagomedov after the fight jumped the fence, attacked Dylan Dennis and the rest of his team. The ensuing brawl, Khabib's team, I forget their names.
They jump in the cage and sucker punch Conor McGregor while he's not looking, and it was just a brawl in the octagon, a brawl outside, and it was a. If you saw what happened with Uzcategui and Darrell's uncle, you pretty much know what happened.
I want to hear what they're trying to tell Khabib. Khabib must know right now he fucked up.
They're getting him out of the cage. They haven't even done the formalities.
No, they're not going to. Ali Abdelaziz there. Fuck you, Ali Abdelaziz. They are guarding Khabib as they walk through a angry, angry crowd of Irishmen. Wow. Wow. Call in, ladies and gentlemen, 323-870-4051+1 to get in the queue. People are throwing drinks at him. Dana White is alone in the octagon with the belt. This entire scene is something completely insane. I even say, Matt, what happened and whose fault? Oh, and Michael Buffer here to read the announcement. Wow. This is, like Fugatti said, so many lawsuits. Yes. Yo, Juan David Hernandez. So how about that Jesse Vargas fight? Juan, this is for you. That was good. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know how to describe and talk about the proceedings that we just saw.
This is your literal media reaction right now.
It's stunned. It's, yeah. I mean, because if this was just the fight and they had, they talk shit, right? You know, there was going to be animosity after the fight. I knew that was going to be, but not obviously to that extent. Not anywhere like that. Not anything criminal, which is what we saw.
It's exactly what we got.
So, you know, usually this part of the show is us talking about the main event, and then the rest of the fights, breaking it down, take your calls, and we go about our night. But this is quite different. This is, like I said, something that will not just be a moment in time tonight and this weekend and this news cycle this week. No, this is a moment that we will talk about forever in MMA history. This is now
part of its history. And
remember that God, I feel like such a fucking screw up here. Shout out to me. Sorry, my head's all over the place. The moment when Mike Tyson went at the cops in the ring. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
This is
that.
eerily reminiscent of that, in my opinion.
And I think that happened to be the same night where he bit Holyfield's ear.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So,
I think it was the second Holyfield fight.
Yes, it was the rematch.
Yep.
It was in the, I believe, the fourth round.
It is just like that. And on top of that, sorry not to cut you off, but this a lot of thoughts in my head. I just need to talk.
No, come on, let him out.
The Strikeforce Nashville brawl, which I know maybe not boxing fans who listen to this show may not know about, but Nick Diaz, Jake Shields, Nate Diaz, and oh God, what's his name? The guy with the red stripe down his head, on his hair, Miller, something Miller, Jason Mayhem Miller. They had a big brawl on CBS, Strikeforce. Remember Strikeforce and Showtime, right? It was the only CBS event, and that event had a brawl in the main event that happened in the ring. It is like that, but this is so much worse because it's on such a bigger scale. This fight was the biggest MMA fight of the year, and it had that moment where not only is a UFC champion jumping out of the octagon after he just fought to fight his opponent's team, but then Khabib's entire team to jump the octagon and attack Conor McGregor, sucker punch him when he's not the one partaking in the fight. Like Fugatti said, so many lawsuits, so much is going to happen from this, so many ramifications that we can only speculate on, but it is Pandora's box now has been unleashed on MMA. The amount of lawsuits, the amount of suspensions.
The damage control is going to be crazy.
The PR damage control that's going to be done. This is not what people want to see. I know, like, it's exciting. I know there's people out there that are like, that was exciting on some level. I understand that. I understand it. But it's also something that casual fans looking at like, oh, those barbarians, you know, those criminal fighters, you know, all the time. You know, it's the same stereotypes that they use against our community all the time. So that's what I'm upset about. This only hurts the community and the culture of combat sports. When it was such a big event, it was such a big fight and moment already, and now it has such a negative and infamous tone to it. When we could be talking about Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, Derek Lewis's huge comeback KO against Alexander Volkov, Michelle Waterson saving her career against Felice Herring, Dominic Reyes at 10-0 with 10 knockouts being a true light heavyweight prospect, something that we have not had in years. But no, the entire news cycle is going to be now about Khabib and the fuckery that we just saw. Shame on them. It's disgusting, and it only hurts us. It doesn't do any good. The amount of traffic and clicks that these videos are going to do, it is nothing compared to the negative backlash that those casual sporting fans that watch football on Sunday and that the cage fighting stuff. You know, this solidifies all of their opinions about us. And it's just unfortunate, man. You know, call in 323-870-4051. Obviously, I want your take on that melee. Santiago, I want your take on this melee before. Let's actually get into the fights. We're going to try to move on because this night was really fun. It was a great night. It was a great series of fights that we saw, and it's a damn shame that this had to overtake the moment. You know, it really is because, you know, this isn't a sport I watch. You know, I watch this with you. You more or less have me interested in it from a certain perspective. But, you know, I wanted to be here. I wanted to look at the fights. I was excited. And just, you know, it's depressing. You know, as a boxing scribe, you know, purely as boxing scribe, you know, like, when I saw what happened with Ustastegui and the uncle, I was just like, why would you do this? Another moment that's eerily similar to this.
It was unnecessary. It was completely asinine, and, you know, fuck. It doesn't get more guilty than when you hear them say the uncle has ran out of the arena, you know? And the fact that they went through what they went through for this as they closed out the card and the pay-per-view, it's just kind of like, fucking hell, man. You cannot imagine what tonight and tomorrow is going to be like. It is going to be there with an asterisk forever.
Yep, and I think we're going to try to do our best job to ignore that asterisk and actually talk about the fight.
Yeah, so let's just
start at the top and work our way down, and then move on. Let's move on to some DAZN stuff after that too.
For sure.
Even though we did not stay 100% on point with the DAZN card, we were watching it. It was on our second TV here in the studio, so we were watching it. So we'll get to the DAZN card as well. But yeah, let's get into it. Khabib versus Conor McGregor, man. This is hard. This is really difficult to do, man. Khabib obviously was, trying to sort of reverse my head into just talking about the fight without talking about what happened afterwards is difficult. But Khabib, he has that Tyron Woodley style where he tries to suck you into his offense, suck you into a rhythm, and then he'll pivot, and all of a sudden he's in the center of the octagon, and he's the one being the aggressor.
Yeah, almost like a reverse sprawl, right?
And it's really subtle. And I think if you're a fighter in the cage and you're working the ebb and flow of it and the rhythm of it, you don't see it. But that's what I think did Khabib a lot of service, is that he allowed Conor to feel comfortable. He allowed Conor to feel like he was in control. And then he would take away that control instantly, whether it be the right hand knockdown in the second round, whether it be him all of a sudden pivoting out, and not really pivot, but pivoting out to the center and then going for that double leg and not pressing Conor up against the cage. He would allow Conor to get sucked into thinking that he would be the one throwing the offense, and then all of a sudden he would have to react to it. I think he did a good job of making Conor double think what he was doing in there at times as well.
And he definitely kept the striking at bay. Like, this was the tamest I've seen Conor McGregor, barring the fights that I have seen leading up to this, the Mayweather fight. He definitely locked down his offense, because you could see that while McGregor did have an idea what he wanted to do, we couldn't do it. He was hesitant to try, and more often than not, it was those lulls that Nurmagomedov took advantage of to land that overhand right and just completely buckle and change the look of the fight for McGregor.
Yeah, and even in the lulls, he was making Conor the more tired fighter. He was the one on top. He was the one pressing Conor up against the cage. He was the one making Conor carry his weight. It was just a good game plan from Khabib. The improved, on both sides, the improved striking of Khabib, which I think we saw here, and obviously the improved grappling of Conor, I think is good things we can sort of take away from this. Obviously, it's harder to do from the post-fight interaction, but if there's one sort of positive we can take away from both guys here, is that Khabib obviously has improved his striking throughout his career.
Yeah,
it showed here.
It showed, especially when he realized that he probably wasn't going to have as much success. And, for me at least, right? Lay off, including everything. McGregor still looked pretty good, looked pretty sharp. I think it was just the style clash that really, had him concerned, because he had been submitted before, a la Nate Diaz, and here's the second one. And I don't know. We really can't say anything more about that, just because, like, for obvious reasons, we kind of know where things are going to be going for one guy at least.
Well, we don't know where anything's going for one guy. We don't. Is Khabib going to take jail time? I don't think he's going to get the Conor McGregor service in New York City when Conor through the dolly. I don't see it. I think Khabib's going to get more of a book thrown at him, or at least from the athletic commission standpoint, I think he gets a suspension. I don't think he gets away with just a fine. I doubt it at this big of an event. If this was, again, sort of a sideshow where no one was watching, maybe they just ignore it and move on. But this was in front of the entire sporting world's eyes. Conor McGregor and Khabib dominated the sporting cycle and news cycle this week. They were holding court, and that's what happened. I know we're getting back to it and that whole shit. We shouldn't. But it's harder to say going forward what's going to happen with both these guys. We have legal issues to go through. That's always a question mark. We don't know how that's going to go down, especially when we're dealing with celebrities, athletes. It's hard to tell. Khabib, I don't think is going to get the preferential treatment that Conor did. I just don't. I know the justice system. It's not going to work that way. But sort of digressing back to the fight a little bit, Khabib's strategy, and the one that he always has, is that he is a rising tide. He is the one that's slowly going to creep up on you to where you cannot breathe anymore and you suffocate from water in your lungs. Conor is that tsunami where he's trying to hit you with that one huge wave, and if it doesn't work and you survive it, you survive it. You know, Khabib's one of those you don't realize how much trouble you're in until that fourth round hits. You had a good third round, but all of a sudden, man, I'm really fucking tired. And he gets to the ground, and you really have nothing. All of a sudden, you have no energy. You thought you had all this energy, and you don't. So Khabib, I think, in performance-wise, 10 out of 10. I mean, he performed. His striking was great. His grappling was great. Obviously, Conor negated a lot of the grappling at times. But I think that's more of a credit to Conor than it is a disservice or discredit
for sure,
to
because,
Khabib, you know?
Really, with that submission kind of being exactly how I thought that Khabib was going to get the win, I'm surprised that it didn't come in the second round. And more so, especially when he did throw that salvo of punches while he was on the ground in top position.
Yes, call in 323-870-4051 if you want to talk about this fight and the rest of the card. Sonny in the chat saying, but you know Dana will strip him. That's a good point, man. Like, Dana doesn't love Khabib like he loves Conor. Let's be completely honest here.
I mean, if he ever needed a legitimate reason to like do what he wanted to do in the first place, he has it. Khabib fucking gave it to him on a silver platter.
He could have 100% strip Khabib and have an excuse to do it. But digressing a little bit, let's get to the co-main
event,
because the co-main was so good.
The co-main event was awesome,
and it has none of this shit attached to it. It has no. It was just amazing MMA,
and it had you laughing.
And it had an amazing post-fight moment as well. With Tony Ferguson on the ground crying. I mean, really emotionally crying. And Eddie Bravo, his longtime jiu-jitsu trainer at 10th Planet. You know, really, I didn't catch everything he was saying, but just saying, like, you did this. Like, this is your moment. Like, be happy. Like, I'm, like, sort of supporting him being emotional in a way. And it was just a great moment. But the fight itself, God. First off, Anthony Pettis, I see the callers, don't worry. We'll get to you callers after we break down this co-main event. Press 1 to get in the queue. Anthony Pettis dropped Tony Ferguson early. Gave him some really, really good punishment. But Tony Ferguson, you know, after maybe the first few minutes where his legs looked a little bit off.
Oh, that
right?
one leg kick had you hurting.
Yeah, he was limping a bit. And obviously the commentary team was a little bit concerned about
the ACL injury.
Yeah, of course. But once that sort of ring rust
it became
faded,
a fight. It became a fun fight. Oh, my God. Both guys were just throwing at, you know, it's not that they were like hellacious shots either, but they were landing clean. They were landing consistently. And both guys looked like they were having a blast and they're just teeing off against one another. And really, the only anticlimactic moment of the fight was the fact that in that process, Anthony Pettis broke his right hand and could not continue.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Though I think it's a good job on his corner. I know in MMA, for maybe boxing heads out there, they don't understand this, but corner stoppages aren't normal in MMA. That's a rarity. That's a unicorn in the sport. It really is. That's been something that we've been trying to implement in our culture a little bit more in MMA because boxing obviously has that where it's a little more respectable to, you know, live on to fight another day. You know, that sort of ethos is true, I think, in boxing, and it's starting to get there in MMA. So I'm happy that Duke Rufus stopped the fight for Anthony Pettis. He should not have sent him out there, so I'm glad about that. But like you said, phenomenal fight. And also, it was a Tony Ferguson fight and an Anthony Pettis fight. Both guys were doing Matrix-like shit. Tony Ferguson
and
was
they were
doing,
trying to one-up the other guy.
Oh,
That's what I
amazing.
logged. Like when Tony Ferguson came up to the cage with a jumping punch, jumping Superman punch, and it was just kind of like, "Oh, you can do it. I'll try. I'm gonna one-up you right there." And it was just fun. It was really entertaining to see.
Yeah, and then obviously, you know, the standing elbows from Tony Ferguson are just lethal shots. But just phenomenal stuff for Tony Ferguson. God knows what happens for him next. Obviously, we have the Nate Diaz-Dustin Poirier fight in a few weeks. Obviously, whatever's happening with Conor and Khabib and the fallout of this, I think has ramifications for Tony Ferguson. So it's a bit of a wait-and-see factor here going forward. We're going to head out to a caller right now, 773. Who is this, and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello. Who is this?
Hello?
Who is this, and
Hey,
where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Fernando calling from Chicago.
What's up, Fernando? How you doing?
Hey, Matt, I'm a little buzzed. I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay, man. It's okay. I'm high. It's okay.
Hey, real quick. Okay, good, great. Hey, I saw this coming a mile away. So he beating McGregor. I mean, I don't know how people didn't see it, but I saw it. Real quick question. Mikey Garcia, where you have him as your pound for pound?
I don't know. Mikey's one of those guys. His style is so. I'm gonna use the word basic, and that might seem harsh, but that's the word I'm gonna use. Basic. That it's hard to compare him with a little more of the stylistic guys of the division, not division of the sport, like an Usyk, like Lomachenko, like Crawford. He doesn't even have the power of guys like Earl Spence, so it's sort of hard to compare him. But he's obviously up there. He's skilled. He's multiple division champion. He's probably in the top 10 somewhere. I haven't really thought about that much.
Right, you don't have him. You don't have him on your top 5?
Not off the top of my head, to be quite honest. I gotta maybe give it a little more thought, because my top 3 in any order is Usyk, Lomachenko, and Crawford, and then like guys like Canelo are in the top 5 in my opinion. So there's only one spot left for him. So I don't know if he makes the cut, so to speak.
Hey, you think real quick? Do you think Lomachenko makes a cut, being only fighting 11 fights and having 1 loss?
Absolutely. Just like guys like Inoue make the cut, even though he has very little fights. He only has, I think, like 15 fights, and he's a 3-division champion. And I come from the MMA world a little bit, so like losses don't mean as much, especially when it's your second pro fight against Orlando Salido.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I just think that having 4-division, being a 4-division champion, that would earn him at least a top 5 spot.
It's not just the divisional champion who you beat, right? So, like, guys like Sergey Lepinets at 140, like, are we going to count that as the same to guys like Robert Easter win? Like, those are obviously different wins.
Right.
So just to say a 4-division champ, like, that's a thing, and that automatically guarantees you a spot somewhere, that's not the case. Like, Adrian Broner is a 3-division champion. You know, we don't see Adrian Broner on any pound-for-pound list anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I give you that. I just don't think Lomachenko has beat, like, who did he beat last to prove that he's a pound-for-pound champion?
Linares, Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Rigondeaux was, come on now, he was 2 divisions below him. I wouldn't count that as a win. Even Lomachenko himself.
I count it as a win.
That wasn't a win.
I count it as a win very quickly. I count it as a win because before that fight started and it happened, everyone was giving Rigondeaux a shot. Everyone was hyping up Rigondeaux that fight. A lot of people. I know you weren't. Not necessarily I was, but the community was. The community validated that fight. It didn't validate Canelo Amir Khan. Did not validate Triple G Kell Brook, but it did validate Lomachenko Guillermo Rigondeaux. Both guys multi-gold medalists in the Olympics. I do give him a little more credit for that one because the community did.
But you don't think that was more like the casual fans that they gave him credit for that win?
I don't know. I think obviously you have a portion of, let's say, like top rank haters, like people that really don't like Bob Arum. They bigged up Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? And I think.
Right.
I don't know if casuals cared about that fight. That's the thing. I think that was a very combat sport insular fight. Like, it did do good ratings on ESPN, but it didn't do, transcendental numbers on ESPN. That was still very much an in-boxing, in that bubble fight.
Very in-house, very...
I think hardcores were hyped on it heading into it, and then it turned out that Lomachenko was just that good, and he was, obviously, the size advantage was that much of a factor, and then we changed our minds after the fight. And I get, obviously, hindsight is 20/20, and I think we can use hindsight to our advantage sometimes. Like, we can use it to add context to a situation just from a history perspective. But we validated that fight. We, as a community, said that fight was legit. I think it's very hard to now go back on Lomachenko.
I don't know, because even Lomachenko himself said he didn't
I agree.
validate that win.
No, you are right. You are right. But the community validated it. The community validated it. I mean, go back and listen to podcasts before that fight happened. Go back and listen to callers call in and pick Guillermo Rigondeaux. I was on shows that had a lot of callers. And I remember half of the callers calling in picking Guillermo Rigondeaux for that fight. Like, we thought it was 50-50. Not necessarily me or you or Loma, not everyone, but as a consensus, yeah, we validated that fight. We thought it was 50-50, and then it turned out to be, no, we were fucking wrong.
You know what I thought about that fight? I thought about that fight as much as I thought as Mikey Garcia moving up to fight Errol Spence. We all think that's a ridiculous fight. Mm-hmm. We all know Mikey had zero chance of beating Errol Spence at 147. That's exactly the same way I felt about Lomachenko fighting Rigondeaux.
No, hey, look, that is an apt comparison. But the difference is that we as a community always thought Spence Garcia was a bad matchup. That wasn't the same with Lomachenko Rigondeaux. Even though on paper we should have the same consensus opinion about it. We should, but we don't. We look at Spence Garcia more along the lines of Amir Khan, Canelo, of Triple G Brook, instead of Loma Rigondeaux, when they all should be counted as the same. They all should be looked at the same.
Right.
Well, Fernando, do you have any more?
No,
thoughts?
I just wanted to say, hey, keep doing a good job, man. And since you broke away from TB, from the boxing voice, you're doing a great job. Just keep doing a good job.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, man. Call back in, and thank you for the very random call, Fernando. I like that. That was fun. That was a boxing debate about nothing that happened this weekend. You know what? I needed that. I know, like, people in the chat.
It was a welcome distraction.
I know people in the chat were shitting on you, Fernando, and I know you were a little bit buzzed. Don't worry about it. We needed that palate cleanser because this entire night has been something else. But we're going to another caller
and another Fernando.
Is that Fern?
I believe so.
It probably is. There's a 323 number. Fern, is this you?
It is I.
Oh my God.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
I have, and I've been drinking. So shout out to MCR. Great show, guys.
Thank you. I
wanted to come out and support, man. You're doing your thing, man. I really appreciate you seeing on a weekly basis, man. Because shout out to MCR.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Always appreciate your support as well. How you doing, Fern? Did you enjoy the fights?
I did, man. It was a little light for me. Just I don't have DAZN. I know we got to stay on topic, but
we don't have to. We
don't
have to stay on topic, man. Fernando ruined that completely. Let's be honest.
I caught the end of it. It's going to be a hard call to follow, but yeah, I'm buzzed as well, Fern. So shout out to Fern from Chicago. But yeah, man, great night of fights.
Yo, hold on, Fern, very quickly. I instantly had in my head, the meme of the two Spider-Men pointing at each other? That's what this follow-up call is, by the way.
No, shout out to my brother on the East. But yeah, man, great night of fights. I'm glad I was able to catch the fight, the co-main event. I'll be honest with you, this would be one of the first full events I catch for UFC, and it was really entertaining, man. The co-main event, I have no idea who those guys were. They put it out there, man. It was a great fight. The main event, I was thinking just based on Connor's Floyd fight, as far as from what I know, UFC fights are championship fights are 5 rounds, 5 minutes, and just based on cardio and knowing that Khabib is a submission kind of guy, I figured that if it was more groundwork as the fight progressed, that eventually McGregor would submit, and sure enough, choke out. The events that transpired afterwards were just crazy. I don't know what happens afterwards. Again, I'm an ultra casual fan, but it was definitely something to watch, and I'm glad I tuned in. It was a great night.
I agree with everything. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I know you are much more of a casual MMA fan. You're much more of a boxing head, so it's always good to see these events sort of spill out to more of the boxing fandom. Now, as a boxing fan, because obviously boxing fans, I think, are a little bit more conditioned to misbehavior from athletes than other sporting fan groups, I would say. Does that post-fight interaction or brawl, does that leave a bad taste in your mouth? Does that make you not want to watch another fight?
Not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I won't lie to you. On Monday, or if you have a follow-up show, any kind of follow-up show, I'll be tuning in. But typically, what I would do on any kind of fight of this magnitude, boxing or MMA, I do check the Yahoo feeds, like the Yahoo News, to see what happens afterwards, and it does make me interested in wanting to follow up on what happens next. So no, I'll be tuning in, and I'll be keeping an eye out on McGregor and Khabib. I mean, well, definitely makes me interested in what happens.
I agree, Fern. I think that's interesting to note the idea of how many people are like Fern that like are completely casuals. They see this and now they want to know what happens next. Now this becomes a saga. This becomes a saga that it's a trilogy fight series between them, and it gets bigger each time because of just all the drama attached to it. Maybe that's a silver lining in it, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't follow the sport enough, but I mean, to me, McGregor didn't do enough to merit a rematch, but I would be interested in it as a casual fan to be able to watch a rematch if that were to even be in the cards.
I agree, Fern. Any other points? Anything else? Any observations?
No, not at all. I mean, a great night of fights, and I'm glad I'm tuning in.
Well, thank you, Fern. I hope you have a great night. Stay frosty out there, man. We need to hang out with like the whole crew again, man. Like JP, Info Joe.
That'll be a special moment for MCR right there.
I miss it, man. I miss it. Anyways, we're gonna head out to the next caller. Actually, it's Ron, so we can make him wait a little bit. Do we want to quickly talk about the Derek Lewis-Volkov fight? I think we should, because we haven't talked about that, and that's really the only other fight I feel like we need to get to be quite honest.
But like, what is there really to say about that fight? I mean,
I gotta say this. There is, I think Derek Lewis is now tied for heavyweight record all time
with Cain Velasquez.
With Cain Velasquez for third round knockouts. Right?
That's exactly what they said.
That is an insane stat that you are that guy where comeback knockouts. I hold that record. God, Derek Lewis. And that post-fight interview, just salute, man. Like you said, there's not much to say. Volkov fought great. He got caught at the very last 10 seconds of the fight and got dropped and finished with some brutal right hands. Derek Lewis, now I think he is 15-1 in his last 16 pro fights.
It's impressive.
Which it's an insane stat when you think about heavyweight MMA. Like MMA alone, people take a lot more losses, but heavyweight MMA, the second best heavyweight MMA fighter of all time is Randy Couture at 19-12 record. Okay, Mark Hunt is like universally considered a top, perennial heavyweight for like a decade plus, right? He has a 500 record. So a guy like Derek Lewis who has now 16-1 or 15-1 in his last 16 fights, that's fucking insane. And he is the worst, best fighter I have ever seen. I've never seen a guy that obviously has that much flaws in his game, no cardio, obvious physical ailment in his back that he has talked about a lot, and yet gets those insane athletic style knockouts.
And he looked exactly what you would expect an out-of-shape guy to look like and still pull off the come-from-behind knockout.
Insane. It's insane stuff. We're going to head out to Ron, the mastermind over at Fighter IQ. Go check out his YouTube channel and also co-host of TBV. Ron, how are you doing? I hope you enjoyed this week. Hold on. Before anything, wow, right? Just wow.
Oh, my God. Yo, I'm a big boxing fan. I'm a big MMA fan, but UFC stole the whole entire day. Like I was saying this, but they shut shit down today, man. That was a great card, man.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get to hear all the show because I'm like reading all the news and like trying to like read all the back end stuff. But that was a great card. I skimmed through like Michelle Waterson, I thought she looked great. I liked her striking. Like, I was happy she won because I think she represents women fighting very well. And, just seeing how she came from, like, atom weight and she, like, fights these physically strong, big girls and performs very well. And her Muay Thai looked better. I thought that was great. Reyes looked really good. I think he should have got the knockout, credit for that, but I understand. You guys mentioned Derek Lewis. I was telling people I was around, like, Yo, I know this looks sloppy on Derek Lewis, but if you watch Derek Lewis, you still have to fear. You have to watch out. This dude just somehow miraculously plays possum. I don't know if he does it on purpose or not, but he's always like, I'm hurt or I'm tired, and then he just knocks the guy out. And I called it. And, yo, this dude literally, if he's hurt, you have to literally get, like, straight up just question if he's hurt. Like, you can't predict this dude. He's always just holding some crazy bomb every time. And I think the whole eye-poking thing, I don't know if he was actually hurt. I don't know if he was playing possum. Maybe it was an excuse because he was getting beat up. I don't trust Derek Lewis. I don't trust that dude at all. I wouldn't trust him. Fuck that. Derek Lewis is a scary dude because you just can't read that dude. That's like an unreadable guy, and that's the problematic fighting him. And then the Conor Khabib, like you guys touched on, everybody was like, why is Khabib running around? What's going on? This is terrible. But no one knows, like, the bad blood, the bloodline of the whole religion, countrymen, bus throwing stuff and all that. So I think Khabib became a star, like a global star today. I think what was sad is he had like a Marvin Hagler moment. You guys know about when Marvin Hagler was in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. Know what you're talking about. I remember that moment very indelibly. Nice reference.
Yo,
Yeah,
hold on, Ron. Santiago with a thesaurus out of his ass here, just making up words on the spot. Okay, now Ron, you can continue your call.
It's all good, man. I got love. But yeah, it was like, Marvin Hagler had his moment in the UK where he was supposed to be the champion, and sure enough, people were throwing stuff in the ring, had to escort him out. He never got to, enjoy that moment, even though he won the title. We all knew this was the title. Like, that was the passing of the torch to Khabib. And, unfortunately, he didn't get that. And if people haven't been to the T-Mobile Arena, like, it's big. Like, 23,000 people. I had to take 5 escalators. Matt, I'm sure you took hell of escalators, too, to just get to the top. And I'm only imagining what something dangerous, like, I don't know, something hard being thrown that high down there, like, could do to people. So I wish Dana just took the risk, but I get it. Because, I'm a big fight fan, and I always feel like fighters put so much online, they deserve to have that moment. But the T-Mobile is a humongous arena, and I can't even imagine someone throwing stuff from that high and what type of damage that would do to people. So Khabib did exactly what, everyone predicted. He was going to maul Conor down, and everyone was pretty much waiting that could Conor actually land these early counter-punching. And I think tonight Tony Ferguson show that Tony Ferguson Khabib is the fight, straight up, because I think Conor was being too defensive and waiting to do the pull counters and being selective in his punch selection, his wide stance to get like leverage and shots, and eventually lets him get taken down so much. I think Tony Ferguson tonight showed just crazy grit, that heart and a fun stylistic pressure kind of fight where Conor didn't. And I think Khabib, Tony Ferguson, for like the 15th, 20th time, can we please get that fight? Can we get the Tony Ferguson Khabib fight, please?
No. MMA gods won't allow it.
Do you think they're going to – oh, go ahead.
I said the MMA gods won't allow it. Now, what I think is going to happen next, I have no idea, man. Like, Dana White's at the presser right now. He is not happy. Some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. 3 of Khabib's teammates have been arrested. One of his managers, not Ali Abdelaziz, has been arrested as well. There is video going viral online right now of massive brawls happening on the Strip and in Vegas. Please, anyone listening right now in Vegas, be safe. Please be safe. People are getting knocked out. People are getting attacked. This is getting serious. And I have no idea what happens next because of it. Whether we get Khabib versus Tony, a rematch with Conor, Khabib getting stripped, everything is a possibility at this point right now.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, there's some positive things that come out of this. Obviously, this is a very dark situation, but, if you guys are just tuning in to MMA for the first time, or if you're just tuning in to MCR Radio, please, support the sport at these ugly times. Support the podcast. These guys will keep you in tune with all the news, so that if you want to follow the drama that happens after this and kind of understand the storyline better and the potential matchups and all the aftermath stuff, you know, you want to hit subscribe. You know, you guys are real cool, and it's a good time, you know, to catch these guys because they're very dedicated to the sport, and, you know, they're willing to talk to you guys. All you guys to come call, you know, on the platform, all that stuff. So if you're a big MMA fan, as well as boxing too, because they also cover boxing, you know, go support the sport, and, you know, and so outside of that, you know, I'll let you guys get some extra callers, show some love, talk a little bit more. We got that Inui fight, so if you guys want to stay up a little bit later, you know.
I'm not saying it for that one. Come on.
All right, guys.
Have a good one, Ron. Obviously, go check out him with the Boxing Voice at the Boxing Voice on YouTube. I think they have a show tomorrow, obviously. Sunday and Thursday, that's their days.
Your show's championship rounds on Patreon.
Yep. On Tuesday, patreon.com. Not Tuesday, sorry. At 2 p.m. I don't know why I said Tuesday. On tomorrow, Sunday, if you want to see sort of a more of a breakdown on this, patreon.com/MixHammer Radio. And obviously our show Monday through Friday, live on YouTube, podcast form, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. I want to quickly say something because Leslie Smith, shout out to Leslie Smith, one of the great people in the sport, going on Twitter and saying, and to effect, I don't have the tweet up, but basically to the effect of the entire fight promotion of this event was built off of Conor throwing that dolly and having an assault against Khabib and his team, assaulting Khabib and his team. And then everything after that on the press conferences have been about religion, ethnicity, language, things that get anyone upset and riled up, even if they're not promoting a fight. So this was manifested into reality based off the fight promotion. I think that was a good point by Leslie Smith, that we spoke this, not necessarily we, us, or you listening there as fans, but the UFC spoke this into existence. You know, I've seen other people say that this was always going to happen. And that's a good take. I get it. I completely understand it. Does not excuse what happened with Khabib. Does not excuse it. Just doesn't. I can understand it. I can get it completely. Doesn't make it right. I can understand a lot of things that aren't right from ethical morality standpoint. And this wasn't it. Yeah, you know, not here clutching my pearls. It's the fight game. It is what it is. Khabib eventually is going to be back in it. And I'm going to be watching this fight, doing shows about it, because that's my job. But this was disgusting. Just like the entire fight promotion to this event has been disgusting. But we're going to go over to Mr. Jolly, JP from Long Beach. JP, how you doing, man?
Hey man, is this the biggest night ever for UFC? You know, me being a casual, I digress to what you'll say here.
First off, you get 10 points for using the word digress. 10 points right there for you. But yeah, I think it is. I think this is probably, if not the biggest, it's what, top 2, top 3. It's up there. I think this does 2 million pay-per-view buys.
2 million. So I listened to the fight via YouTube with no footage. Is how interested I was. So I think that's an accomplishment for the UFC for a very, 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 very casual fan like myself. Santiago, how you doing, man? Everything good?
I'm doing good, JP. Happy to have you and Fern on here for the calls. And yeah, I would say that is a success because you know me, dude. I'm more of a boxing guy than anything else. But like even this fight had my attention. You know, really the DAZN fight had been more of an afterthought to me than anything else. So I definitely get where you're coming from with this too.
Yeah, man, because I'm, you know me, I'm definitely with the shits. And they definitely got with the shits tonight. This is going to be trending. This is going to be on all kinds of news. Everybody's going to know about it. People who had no interest at all, who had never known this fight existed, will see what ensued after the fight. So I think, you know, in this case, the old adage applies, any publicity is good publicity. So one more narrative before I go, and I'm just looking at Twitter. One guy says Khabib is the Floyd Mayweather of MMA, unbeatable but unbearable to watch for casual fan. What do you think about that?
I've heard that comparison before. I don't know if it's completely accurate, but I don't think it's completely wrong either. So I'll give it like a one thumbs up, not 2 thumbs up, but 1 thumbs up. I can dig it. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to argue against it.
Very well, then, my friends. Hey, I'll see y'all soon, man. I'm out.
See you, JP. Hope you have a good night, man. Going out to the queen of New York City, the Dominican Nightmare, Monsterpiece. Monsterpiece, how you doing?
The Dominican Nightmare, Jesus Christ.
You earned that one, Monster.
Hi.
You definitely earned that one.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Oh, my God. What a great night. I don't know why people are complaining about what happened. I mean, you put 2 animals in a cage to go at it. They're going to retaliate. You know, eventually they're going to retaliate the worst way.
But Monster.
So I'm not surprised. Listen, I am not going to say this was disgusting. I am not going to say this was uncalled for. I'm not going to say none of that because this has been happening for a while. We've been seeing the progression of how Conor has been going at Khabib. And some may say even Khabib going to Conor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people, you know, Conor's reason for attacking Khabib at the bus was because Khabib, for some reason, cornered his boy. But he didn't even do anything to his boy.
No, he
no.
He slapped him.
That's
He slapped him.
Okay.
Come on,
I didn't
Monster.
see a slap in that video. Maybe no. Wait. The video that I saw didn't have a slap.
There is a slap.
But
There's
if you can show me that video that he did, by all means, I don't have a problem. Show it to me. That's okay. But anyways, it started with that. You know what I mean? But this is the difference between the way Khabib approached that guy and the way Conor approached Khabib. When Khabib approached that guy, there was no other casualties around. It was just that guy. We can at least agree to that. But when Conor did it, there were securities, there were cops, there were not so much securities, but there was like a bus with people that had nothing to do with this beef. It was just a whole bunch of shit show that just really didn't need to happen. When Conor has so much money that he could have easily handled this a different way. He did not have to do that, but he did it because that's just the way Conor is. He likes attention. He likes to act like he's really, really tough. And then when it's time to get in that ring and do what he needs to do, Nate Diaz chokes him out.
Monster.
Khabib chokes him out. It's kind of obvious. I knew Khabib was going to win this fight. I knew it because it's the same thing that happened with Nate. I knew it was going to happen. I am not going to say this was disgusting. There's no reason for me to say that. We knew this was disgusting from the beginning. I am not going to repeat it because it is what it is. We all kind of knew this was going to happen.
I have a couple points, Monster. Obviously, you are more okay with it because you're a degenerate boxing fan, just like the rest of us. So we have been accepting racism, sexism in our sport, bullshit, criminals in our sport, wife beaters in our sport. We accept that all. So this, obviously, for people like us, it's a blip on the radar. But for I don't know, Becky down the street that watches I don't know, NBA on Tuesday and like maybe a Sunday night football game every once in a while, and she sees it on her phone, does she have a positive thought about it or a negative thought about it? I'm assuming negative.
No, she's gonna have a negative.
And that's where I come in. That's where I'm coming in and have the issue with. Because obviously, we as the community are going to still accept Khabib, and we're going to move on. Of course we will. Khabib, in the long, grand scheme of things, this is not the most despicable thing that a fighter has done, obviously. However, it's one that will go viral. It's one that we, us hardcores, will have to explain to the casuals. So now Khabib has put us in a position to have to explain his bullshit. And I get it. I get your point about Conor initiating a lot of this. And you're right. but that doesn't excuse Khabib attacking people or his teammates jumping Conor in the cage and sucker punching him. That's
absolutely.
Absolutely. We can all sit and agree that Khabib and Conor dealing with their shit in the cage, it should have been finished. If y'all don't like each other still, fine. Don't shake each other's hands. Move on. But to jump each other after the fight, when it should be squashed, come on, man. Like, that's some bitch shit. I'm not happy with that. I have to explain it now to casuals, and I'm upset about that reason. And again, I think bringing back the history of Conor McGregor and Khabib and their promotion, which I've already done, is not about pointing fingers. It's not about saying, oh, Conor, led to this, or Khabib did. It's this promotion from the get-go has been manifesting this situation. It has.
Oh, yes.
So that is what we should be talking about. We shouldn't be pointing fingers at Conor or really Khabib. Point fingers at the entire promotional bent of let's point at each other's ethnicity and question it. Let's point at each other's religion and question it. Point at each other's families and question it. And while I think maybe Conor's points about Ali Abdelaziz are completely true, and we should be talking about that, it was initiating conflict with a dangerous and downright criminal group of people. Let's not forget who Khabib runs with. He runs with fucking dictators in Chechnya that commit genocide against people. This is not people to fuck with.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I agree, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's like, dude, you're dealing with people here who have a history of violence already.
Yes.
In their repertoire. It's like this is their life. And then here comes Conor with this, and this is the thing also that I don't understand about Conor. Conor, I get the mind game. I get it. And that is something that you learn in fight school. You must, defeat your opponent mentally before you can defeat him physically. We all know this. This is a very standard lesson in fight game. However, Conor takes it to an extreme that sometimes you have to ask yourself, boy, are you scared that you have to go this far? Like, he doesn't limit himself.
I don't know that.
Let me write down the things I'm gonna say, and let me see if I could find a limit.
Monster.
It doesn't have a limit.
Monster. I think Conor McGregor is a lot of things, but scared is not one of them. The guy that jumped in against Floyd Mayweather, the guy that hold on, let me finish. The guy that jumped in against Khabib after 2 years, that guy is not so scared that he has to invent or bring up this really extreme shit talking to try to psych out his opponents. I think that's just him.
It's too much.
Like it might be too much. It might be too much for you. It might be, and it might be too much for him. And how it brought this situation into existence. But this has always been Conor. This is not new. Conor's always been this person, and because of this, he sells millions of pay-per-views. Because of him, this sold 2 million pay-per-views. Let's be honest.
I know. I get it. Listen, I get it. We, like you mentioned earlier, we all get it. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes I think about these things and I go like, yo, this is gonna come back and bite him in the ass one day. Like,
that's more accurate. Yes.
Yeah.
That's more accurate.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
no. I agree. I agree with that, Monster.
Supposedly, allegedly, he made $100 million off the Floyd fight. Like, you shouldn't be talking like this anymore. Like, you already made it. Like, people already know who you are. Like, there's times where you just gotta, like, chill, bro, chill. But you're right. This is who he is.
Like, you go back and see him on the regional scene. He was the same exact person, just without tattoos.
Yeah.
And without the millions of dollars and nice suits.
Yeah.
He had a bad haircut and was eating blueberries in a one-bedroom apartment, and now he's in 2 mansions, flying jets around. That's the only difference. But I will agree with you that I will agree with you 100% that, like, you put stuff out in the universe, it's going to come back and haunt you. It's going to come back and get you.
It's going to come back and haunt you.
That 100% is true. And obviously, Conor, I think, knows that. Like, I don't think Conor is that upset that this happened. I think Conor realized that, like, you know what I mean? Like, Conor's a street dude. Like, he was like, okay, like, I think he would be more upset about them sucker punching him. That would be his only talking point, in my opinion, is that they sucker punched him. I think him attacking Dylan Dennis, I don't think he's going to have that much an issue with that, to be honest. It's the sucker punching. But, I mean, even street dudes do that, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, absolutely. It was crazy, man. Listen, when Khabib won, I jumped up from my chair. I was so happy that he won. And I love McGregor. I've been following McGregor's career for like 4 years. And I really, really do like McGregor. But this whole Khabib situation just made me just team Khabib all the way. I wanted really to see Khabib win because Conor was talking a lot of shit, man. If you talk that much shit, you better back it up. And he thinks I don't know, man. He just doesn't have a limit. But, another thing that I want to bring up, it also overshadows what happened today. Also kind of was unfair for the other fights that happened tonight because there were some great fights tonight.
Agreed.
The girls was a great fight. The heavyweight one was a great fight also. And the one, Pettis versus Ferguson, oh, my God, that was a good fight, too. I want to see a part 2 to that. Do you think it's worth a part 2?
Not immediately.
That he
Not
doesn't
immediately.
want to see a part 2.
I don't want one. I'll be honest. If it happens down the
Wow,
road,
too.
if it happens down the road, I'll be okay with it, but not immediately. No, Tony Ferguson doesn't need to. He doesn't need to fight Anthony Pettis
Okay.
again. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Tony Ferguson should be fighting. Tony Ferguson should be fighting these names only: Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier winner, Conor McGregor, or Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
If it's not those names,
Man,
I do not want to see it for Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, you're right. I guess you're right. I just really enjoyed that fight. It just was sad, yo. Pettis got fucked up, man. And I like Pettis. I really like him. I think he's cute. Anyways, what I was going to say.
Did you watch any of the Boxing Monster? Did you watch any of the DAZN card?
I didn't. I was so focused on this McGregor thing. And also, I went to see Venom tonight, so
I hear it's good.
that happened. It was good.
Yeah,
Don't
I hear it's
listen
good.
to the critics.
Yep.
Don't listen to the critics. They can be too harsh sometimes. It's kind of like, what the fuck do you want? Go and watch it. It's definitely fun.
Everyone tells me it's a bad, fun movie. Like, it's not the greatest movie, but it's entertaining. So I'll go watch it.
It's entertaining. Yeah, I agree to that. That I do agree. It's entertaining. I think it's worth watching. It's worth going to the movies and just having a great time. The script was the only problem, but everything else was fine. Tom Hardy is just an excellent actor. You can't go wrong putting Tom Hardy in anything you do.
And you can actually understand him.
You can give him a fucking script from a college student, and that dude would do that script freaking amazing. Like, just the most basic amateur script. He will be for the best. Anyways, have a good night, guys, and don't let this ruin your night. It was a great fight. It was a great weekend.
It was a great night and a great weekend. And plus, we still have World Boxing Super Series card in the morning. God, that's still the best boxing card of the weekend. I know we had the Jack Catterall O'Hara Davies fight, which I'm not going to talk about. That was so bad. Excuse me. Obviously, the DAZN card for Jesse Vargas, Thomas Delorme. Fun fights. The Artabetabi fight versus Callum Johnson. That was a fun 4-round little war. The Daniel Roman fight was decent against Gavin McDonnell. Got him out of there, I think. I forget what round was it, like the 10th round. It was late.
Yeah, 10th, 11th.
But good fights all around. Going to the 845 area code, 845. Who is this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Patrick. I'm from New York.
What's up, Patrick? How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
I just had a question. Who do you think would win in a fight? Prime Anthony Pettis when he submitted Benson Henderson, or current Khabib?
Current Khabib. Like, Pettis has always had issues with wrestlers. Let's not forget that prime version against Benson Henderson also had a loss to Clay Guida, where Clay Guida just got takedowns. Even though that loss, to be fair, you could honestly give it to Anthony Pettis just because of the amount of submissions he threw up off his back. However, we saw guys like Clay Guida dominate him in the wrestling department. I think Khabib, even a prime version of Anthony Pettis, would have a lot of trouble with the aggressiveness of Khabib, the clinch work of Khabib, and also the against the cage work of Khabib. Khabib is really good about pressing up against the cage and grinding you out. Pettis has always struggled with that. He always struggles with his back against the cage. He needs really that room to work his game, have space. to work his counters. So I think even Prime Pettis would have a lot of trouble with Khabib.
That's fair. I guess I just got excited about that fight against Ferguson tonight.
I'll put it this way: Prime
Thank
Pettis,
you,
Prime Pettis gives a lot of these guys a lot of work. He gave even this version of Pettis we saw tonight, which was not a Prime version. Just look at his body; you can tell he's not Prime anymore. He gave Ferguson that work.
Yeah.
Pedersen is still an elite guy in the division. I know he's had some bad losses against like Dustin Poirier, for example, that he looked just really bad in, but he also looked really great against Michael Chiesa. So he may not be a top 5 lightweight anymore, obviously, but he's still that borderline top 10. He's going to give a lot of guys tough fights. I still think he can give most of these guys in this division good fights. Like, imagine Anthony Pettis versus Conor McGregor. Like, tell me that's not a fight you would want to see.
Oh, I want to see it, especially now. I don't know what happens now, but yeah. Anyway, thank you guys.
Thank you, Patrick. Have a great night. Santiago, unless we have any final thoughts, I think it's time to wrap it up, man. It's been an interesting one, man. Not only will this probably be one of our biggest shows to date, shout out to everyone listening. Hit that like button, share the show, subscribe, all that stuff. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. But it's also just an historic night on so many levels, man.
Yeah, definitely.
My head's still spinning. Like, I still, like, this entire show, by the way, has been very difficult for me, ladies and gentlemen. Like, trying to get back on track, just to analyze the fights. It's hard after a moment like that. My brain is really on one-track mind right now. And shout out to MMA Twitter, because they are going off right now, man.
Yeah, and you could only imagine it droves through. And, you got a little respite, too. You had someone just bring something.
Shout out to Fernando, man.
Exactly.
Going talking about Mikey Garcia and pound for pound. That was amazing. Shout out to Fernando, man. Drunk callers are the best callers. That's what I say.
And we got 2 Fernandos. We got one from Chicago and one from LA.
No, he's not Fernando. That's just Fern. Like, we never call Fern Fernando. Have you ever called Fern Fernando?
Once.
Maybe a half a time. Okay?
Yes, and then
like,
also...
I might have said, like, Fernando, and I was like, no, wait, just Fern. I might have done that. Like, no, like, it's just Fern.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but it's been a fun night. It's been a fun show thus far. Special shout out to everyone that called in today.
Yes,
Ron,
appreciate
JP,
it.
Fernando, Fern, Monster Piece.
Patrick at the end right there.
Yeah, giving their takes, and we appreciate it, honestly. We love that you guys called in, and I don't really have anything else to say regarding what we've seen. We've said what we've had to say at this point. What about you?
Very quickly, Rubisky in the chat saying, Matt Delorme got robbed. That was bullshit. I didn't score it, but Delorme probably won that fight. Let's be completely honest. So shout out to boxing and just judging overall. Like, it's not just boxing. Like, judging in combat sports sucks. But anyways, I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Be back tomorrow, patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Obviously Monday, our full review show. So the Thomas Delorme fight, the entire DAZN card, World Boxing Super Series, the Jack Catterall versus O'Hara Davies fight card with Daniel Dubois, Nicola Adams getting a WBO interim belt. All the fights this weekend, plus obviously the full fight card of UFC 229, broken down, reviewed, analyzed, dissected. Monday. Same place to find the show on YouTube. Same number. Call in 323-870-4051. Save that number. Hit the like button. Share the show. Subscribe. If you listen on podcast later, drop that fucking review. Because I love reading reviews. We had a 1-star review earlier this weekend. It was pretty funny. But Santiago, final thoughts. Wrapping up anything?
Great event. Good weekend. Good weekend of fights, and we still got that morning card for the World Boxing Super Series to look forward to. Minus the fact that it's at 4 in the morning here in the West, and 7 a.m. for the East Coasters.
I still wish it was on at 7 a.m. here. Like 7 a.m. is like a time where you can wake up and it's still early, but not too early.
Yeah, exactly.
But 4 a.m.
Monster Beast has it lucky right there.
4 a.m. I'm not staying up or waking up that early. I'm sorry. Anyway, I love you anyway. Kaylee Raylick, dark horse of that tournament. Can't wait to see you, but I am going to DVR that motherfucker. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Peace. Stay safe out there, especially if you're in Vegas. Shit's getting crazy. Peace.
Later, everybody.